But the one that really is closest to home is my mother, who decided that who kept saying, "Why does it cost me so much to send my child to school?" I had a brother on the spectrum, and she says, "Why is it costing so much to send him to school? Why can't they make room for him in a public school system?" And the answer was always no, and they put him in schools where he was extremely smart, but just had some deficiencies, but not didn't fit into a handicapped school scenario. So she and my father made several trips down to Springfield and got legislation passed for kids to be mainstreamed in the public school system. And that was in the 70s. And there's a lot of special ed people that thank me for what she did.
Oh, I had no idea that that was the sort of close to home that you had going on with that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So my mother
Wow.
was ahead of her time too. And I was like, okay, well, I just thought this was all normal. You see something, it's not, you're frustrated, something's not working. What are you going to do? And does that, and sometimes it involves changing legislation, which you can hear, you read about in some of the stories I wrote. And sometimes it's just a simple thing like asking, instead of saying, you know, what should I do? I explain this to people, just say, answer the question with, how do I know? How do I know that this is really the way to interpret, my when I talked about my rabbi, how do I know this? And it just used she just used real stories and like real material. It wasn't complicated.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing that I think when you are talking just about these folks, your mom, your dad, that this is that thing where they weren't trying to predict the future, but when we talk about losing patience with the present, that's really what came into the forefront there. What does that impatience, for people who are sort of struggling with broken systems right now, maybe it's a broken system within their own company, maybe it's something they see in their own industry, but what does that impatience look like in practice? Just kind of setting the table for the mindset that they're going to need.
I think that if you get have a if you get tired of saying it's always going to be this way or it is what it is and there's nothing I can do, what would it look like to flip that script and say, what if there was another way?
Yeah.
And you don't have to know what the other way is, but if you ask the question, what if there was another way? Or maybe none of this is the right way to go. Maybe there's another way altogether. That kind of opens you up to looking at other options that you never would have considered.
Yeah.
Never would have considered. I mean, I have to tell you, I've been in love with entrepreneurs for my whole career, and especially the ones that are on the leading edge or the bleeding edge. But but I didn't know how I was frustrated that I couldn't make a big enough impact on entrepreneurs, and I couldn't get them known by a large enough audience to make a difference for them. And so I realized that the reason what was holding me back was that they were after the use the private equity people to grow it fast and sell it. And I just couldn't get behind that. I wanted somebody who was making a difference in the world, not just changing the world.
Totally. Totally. And I hear that too because I think that's the thing is how do you want as a business want to make a difference whether you have one in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you've still got a lot to potentially accomplish. And I totally agree with you. If their main thing is, well, we're doing this so that we can sell it and they can't think beyond that, that's usually a recipe for a lot of trouble because they're not fully invested in their own brand many times.